Hello everyone. Good evening. How are you guys? So guys, discuss about this pre for a minute or two. How was the pre? How did you feel? Bardidra? Did you guys appear for prelims this time? Okay. So it was quite difficult and unconventional, and most of the candidates who are in their initial stages of preparation, they have felt some kind of difficulty in reading itself. So yes, that unpredictability is there, but preparation has to match that. That's why it is called UPSC. All right. Okay, guys, let's start the today's session. Let me introduce myself briefly. I have secured All India Rank 82 this time around, and this was my final attempt. And I am here to share what I should not have done. My mistakes are my experiences, and that is what I'm standing here today, so that you guys save your years that are very precious when you are entering the service or when you are dreaming this kind of service. All right. So anthropology. We know anthropology is often chosen by the candidates because one, it is easy. That is what is being learned by everyone, that the syllabus is less, it is easy, and the scores are high. But my dear friends, these three unique advantages of anthropology have diminished grossly in last 3 to 4 years. The paper has evolved to match the standards of the other optionals like PSIR, sociology, geography, etc. You might have seen the question papers, and you might have heard about how the marks by the toppers themselves, they are not able to repeat the performances. It is because the nature of questions has evolved drastically, that analytics has been included and portions has been expanded, and they are deep diving into the syllabus itself. Earlier what it used to be is simple 1-page or 2-page notes for each topic of the syllabus, but now the game has changed. All right. So our preparation, because this is what I learned during my preparation as well, because when I started, anthropology was the manner which I narrated now, but now it has evolved. So I have seen the journey, how the anthropology as an optional evolved and went on to become difficult. All right. So I precisely understand, and I would like to share those things with you guys in this today's session. All right. So my journey has been like, I have given 4 mains, but first 2 mains, my anthropology preparation was not at all in sync. I was on the job, I quit the job, and I was not mains ready. So those things and all happened. I took those random books that were available in market without getting into the basics of it, which most of you guys and other aspirants could relate to, because this is what generally happens when it comes to choice of notes in anthropology. We'll pick directly either Vivek Bhasmesar's book or some other toppers written notes, which won't give us any clear understanding or clarity. So I did the same part. Yes, this is my first mistake. So that year I got around 220. One paper got demolished, and the paper 2, with decent understanding, we generally used to score earlier days. So due to that, it is 220. Otherwise, by today's standards, that score should have been about 180. All right. And after that, in my second mains, the same thing. I was deeply dejected because I knew that I am not prepared. So I went into that mode where, most of or some of you people at least would have experienced that I'm not getting the results pre-Aktaila, like pre nahi ho raha hai, means I'm not able to, write well. So those things got into me, and the perfectionist tendency just ruined my second mains, and I got into shell, and I didn't even care for studying in my second mains. So I don't bother to add the marks here as well. And that is when comes my reflection point. After failing 2 mains without proper preparation and strategy, in my third mains, I sat down and started everything from scratch. And that is when the things started to show results. And in my third mains, I scored 253. Yes, this is not something that is demonstrable, but having left 40 to 50 marks blank in my optionals, I consider it as a good performance for myself. All right. This was in my third mains and fifth attempt. And then I realized that, yes, this is how we need to approach anthropology. Since I understood the basic parts, in my last attempt, I thought of giving it an edge. So I worked over how to create an edge. And that edge pushed me from 253 to 303. So this is what I'll be sharing with you guys today. All right. So before we actually understand how to translate your knowledge into the competitive answers, because everyone knows that after studying for 1 or 2 years, sitting and studying all those books, everything, you will be understanding things. It's not like you don't understand the concepts, or it's not like that you haven't read, or it's not like that you haven't put your efforts. But only thing is that you are simply not able to translate your knowledge into performance. All right. For that, first you need to simplify what is anthropology in your mind. Why I say this is, once you understand anthropology as a very simple discipline which we live every day, you will realize that anthropology is actually very, very enjoyable, and you will be very curious to discover anthropology in every aspect that we live every day and every moment. Let me illustrate for you guys. Okay. So a lot of people are sitting around here. Some people are from Gujarat, some people are from Karnataka, some are from Andhra, some are from Bihar. All right. Speaking diverse languages. This is what speaks about anthropology, right? And when you wake up in the morning, when you look at your mirror, you will find that you are quite similar to your father or mother. This is what is genetics and inheritance. And when you go to brush, when you are brushing your teeth, at least after 26, because the wisdom tooth starts to erupt, and most of you guys have felt the pain. This is what is microevolution. The utility of wisdom tooth has reduced grossly because we started to consume more prepared soft foods over the decades. So anthropology is everywhere. Take for instance myself or yourself. I'll narrate it. Okay. I have just cleared the UPSC. So I am neither an aspirant nor an IAS at this moment. Okay. I'm in that transition zone. So this is what is liminality. Victor Turner's liminal theory. And take for you, just assume yourself. You are, if those who are given pre and waiting for the result, it will apply to them. They are neither failed candidates, they are neither mains appearing candidates. They are in that liminal phase for next 10 days. So here it is anthropology. Okay. And lot of you people have already watched, lot of strategy sessions, or you have visited lot of mentors or guides, or you have gone through lot of toppers copies. So this is what is, when you're referring lot of toppers copies, that is what is secondary way of data collection and study. And when you are deriving insights and implementing it in yourself, that is what is diffusion of thoughts or diffusion of culture. So most of you guys, at some or other time would have watched YouTube reels or Instagram reels. No, I don't want to look it clumsy, but since this is very viral and the memes have been done, there is this very viral thing that goes on in the internet, like get ready with me. This is actually diffusion of culture. All right. So you must understand anthropology is everywhere. So why you guys are here? Right? Why you guys are here? No, not to score marks. Yes, that is there. To get good marks and get rank, that part is there. But why are you aspiring to get good rank? Because you want to improve your status. Why? Survival. You want to adapt yourself better to society so that you give better chance to your own life and your own progeny. So that is what talks about altruistic part of human genetics. There says there is a theory which Jane Goodall spoke about, that there is an altruistic gene that we tend to care for our kinship. Most of us know that our parents care for our welfare at the cost of their happiness. So what is this? Link it to anthropology. So anthropology is everywhere, no matter whatever it seems like. Because what is anthropology? It is holistic study of man, from past to present of all geographies. So is there anything that left out under this umbrella? Anything under sun and everything under sun is substance for anthropology. Okay, hope you guys are a bit relaxed that anthropology is not something that is, that is theoretical, which is, not belonging, which seems out of, reality. It is there. And I'm talking to you and you are listening. There is some kind of, this, if it is a Q&A, it will be an interview. So we are living anthropology. So anthropology is everywhere. All right. So this is exactly what you should develop, the thought process. And that is going to bring your knowledge into rank. Okay. Only when you are able to think like an anthropologist, need not be very deep, but simply connecting things, your answers will look better, unique, and those written by someone who has understood. Sorry guys, I could sense that some of you have started just now and you might not be able to grasp what I'm trying to tell, because it is bit advanced and it is mostly for those who have already studied anthropology for an year or so. So if you are feeling left out, please revisit that once you study this. All right. So this is about demystifying anthropology and inculcating that it is easy and it is everywhere. All right. Then comes the third pertinent question, right? Many people, once there was a time when people used to, not get ranked from optionals like geography, etc., etc. And after 3-4 attempts or 3-4 mains from other optional, they used to switch to anthropology and get a huge rank. I mean, very good rank. Anudeep Durishetty sir, you might have heard. All right. So that was the status of anthropology then. Where everything fails, come to anthropology. This was a magic pill for UPSC aspirant. But today it has changed. Because if you take any topper's copy of say 3 to 4 years back, and if you replicate the same answers today, you are not even going to get close to 250. Because the game has evolved. The level of competitiveness has increased because the number of candidates that are appearing has gone up over last few years. You might see the numbers from the UPSC report. All right. It has gone to close to the number that are appearing for sociology and PSR like optionals. All right. So that is one reason. And the other part, this is from, the evolution of exam, but there is the candidate's position. All right. Most of the people, like, I have also done the same thing. What we did was, study a lot of material, right? I used to pick, whichever topper notes that comes in the market and try to skim like what I'll get, anything different. And by this, we'll be accumulating a lot of things. When things are not consolidated, there will be a lot of confusion. And confusion is what will harm the most in the exam hall. Okay. So one thing is we have studied a lot. There is no doubt about it. But we have not consolidated it. So that was one thing. And second thing, we know that everyone knows when they look at the topper's copy that they also know those things. There is nothing that the topper has written which you might not be knowing except for a point or two. But still you could sense that you are not able to write the same answer. It is again because lack of clarity and lack of consolidation. And the third most important thing is lack of answer writing approach or strategy that you should evolve for yourself. What we generally tend to do, look at the topper's copy, find a that 1 or 2 pages notes and try to use that information for any answer which is coming on that topic. So this is where the fault happens, because the questions they demand, but your answer should suit the information to demand of the question. All right, so that part is one thing which will affect improvement. And the fourth thing is, we know that everyone understands theory, at least most of them, except for structuralism, which a lot of us, including me, I struggled it a lot. But now I can feel bit consoled that I have understood things. But that is quite normal. But other theories, that you understand them, but you are not in a position to use them naturally across the topics, right? And most of you have already collected a lot of diagrams based on syllabus. Even I have collected them, like about I had some 50 to 60 diagrams. But when those questions come, I was simply not able to use them. Again, it is because of lack of clear answer writing strategy. It is not that you and me have not studied enough. You might have also seen that some toppers, they actually study very limited things and they are scoring really big. It is exactly because of this reason, because UPSC does not reward the quantity alone. Dumping of information or knowledge without articulating it to suit the demand of the question is not well accepted. Clarity, consistency, and a well-structured, understandable answer is rewarded more in UPSC. All right. So that is what you should try to evolve, and that is where I'll try to help you guys during these next 2 months. All right. So we know these are the things. Ultimate, if these things are not fulfilled, the outcome is knowledge rich, marks. So that is what we need to break. And coming to how I improved from 253 to 303. Same thing. All right. Just now I said, first you need to consolidate your notes. I'll share some of my notes through my channel, where you can see that how I consolidated those notes. You can use them as a reference, and many toppers have done in their own way, but I also try to do it in a manner which will help me revise in a quicker and greater retention manner. Okay, and this has helped me very greatly, that consolidation. I could revise the entire anthropology thrice in a day, just a day before exam. And when we are in that position, reproduction of what we have learned is very high, and that will lead to greater scores. So consolidation is very, very critical, and developing concepts clarity is very, very critical again, because in analytical answers, you cannot simply have a ready-made answer prior prepared before exams. You have to think out and structure it and then deliver it in the exam hall. For that, your clarity of concept is indispensable. And third thing is, you need to structure better. I'll show you some of my copies, how I try to, inculcate these aspects. When you structure better, when you create those dimensions, and when you deliver them in a consistent and add some enrichment. Enrichment could be in any manner. Enrichment can be by integration of current affairs, or by application, or by expressing and articulating your own understanding on the things, or by highlighting the recent developments. So these are the minimum ways of enriching your answers. Otherwise, examples, case studies, everyone has these days. Okay, and almost everyone has access to all sort of resources that are available in the market. And think as an evaluator. Okay, I'll come in an elaborated fashion about thinking like an evaluator, because doing alone, this part won't help you to cross 300. Yes, it will certainly ensure you to score a decent above average marks, but to bring that edge above 265 to 270, you need to understand the evaluator mindset and feed the psychology. All right. I'll tell you how. So assume you might have interacted with your teachers, right? So when you interact with your physics teacher, how fascinated he is about physics, or when you interact with any of your anthropology or any of your teachers during this preparation, you might have seen a geography teacher is very enthusiastic about his subject, right? Politics teacher will be very enthusiastic about his subject, because though these people, they are associated with the subject, they learn it, they live it 24/7, and they just care for it. Okay, you must understand that it is just like their child. So in your answer book, the care for their child should come out. Imagine you have, some of you have kids, let's imagine. Okay, don't you get annoyed if someone scolds them, or mistreats them, doesn't behave well, right? So the evaluator will get annoyed when you miss the demand, when you mess up with the concept, and when you write in an unstructured fashion. Okay, and the second most important thing is, how will an disciplinary, because evaluators are those coming from academic background, how will they get impressed? You just cannot impress them by information. That information should bring out some unique selling point, some USP, right? It should try to highlight, he should feel like, yes, this could have happened. Having him being in the field for years together, 10-20 years, he should feel like, why didn't I get that thought? Even in one answer in your entire paper, if you are able to bring out that even in one question, he will get impressed. And an evaluator will not just reward marks question independently. Please make a note of it. Every question is not awarded marks independently. If you set the tone, if the impression is good, if the evaluator feels that the candidate has worked, the candidate has understood the things, and the candidate is articulating as per the demand, if the evaluator senses these things, all the questions of your paper will be rewarded with a bonus. Lot of you might have heard, some people have gotten their scores reduced from 260, 270 to 220, 180, 190. It is because of this reason. In some of their initial questions, the evaluator has felt that this kind has rata वो चीजें लिख के आया है. He has just omitted the mugged up things. He hasn't understood the things. So he is penalizing for all your questions. Don't you think the repeaters who themselves have scored 260, 270, 280 earlier, there should be no reason for them to score less than 120 in paper 1, because paper 1 is objective. 120 or even 100, there should be no reason for any candidate to score below that, even in dream. But they are getting butchered. It is because of this. So you must respect and find love for the subject. Only then that will reflect in your answer sheet. I'll tell you how to bring those elements and incorporate in the answers in some time. All right. So, and third most important thing, same thing. You should not write, what you know. Just because the topic is there and you have read something about topic, it doesn't mean that you should just omit everything about the topic. Don't get into this fallacy that I have written, voluminously. But if you are missing the demand itself, again, the evaluator feel like this guy has not understood. So these things are very, very crucial. Okay. Now I'll tell you how to incorporate these things and how to, feed the psychology of evaluator. Okay. Let me show you some of my copies. Natural selection. So please take a minute and think over the question. What you guys would have written for a 10 marker natural selection. So this is the topic. Please do a rough framework. Okay. After this, we'll discuss.
So, where is this? So did you guys did do a kind of rough framework of the answer? So I will show you how badly I have written. Okay. See, I have tried to define it. Natural selection. Let me change the color. Okay. So defined it for this long.
See, I defined the natural selection with this long paragraph without explaining it or giving any example. I think I have given it, but see, I have explained the example and again a paragraph, right? Such a long paragraph. And I have explained another example. See, so this is the way I used to write, and please take this as what should not be done. Okay, these are don'ts. And I concluded again with a paragraph. I tried to add relevance, which is, I'm not able to understand this. So this is the state of the answer that I wrote in my first and second mains. So you need not worry that particularly the beginners who have started their preparation in last year and have not written answers so far, please start. You will understand how to write, but these are initial things. Yes. And see, the Harappan civilization, I could not produce a good structured answer for 10 mark. See, I wrote with this long paragraph where there is no structure and there is no differentiation between whatsoever. Whoever, if they read this, they'll get fatigue, because an evaluator evaluates tens of paper every day. If he has to sit and research for one paper, he'll simply give him whatever marks is coming into brain, such that his marks will be anyways insignificant. Okay, so that is what has happened with me in my first two mains. See again this thing. There is a clear question where it has to be differentiated. And even in this, I couldn't make any proper structure. I wrote something about racism. I did a generic introduction, and then something definition of race, and then definition of caste. And then I tried to compare them in a paragraph. I don't know how this genius thought came to my mind. I think I was very foolish at that point. I couldn't even think of putting this in a comparative table. So this should not be done. All right. So you can imagine, the evaluator has done justice to me. He has given what I deserved. So I'm thankful to him, because that has led to transformation in my answers. Okay. So I'll show you how I changed my answers. So again, take a minute. Synthetic theory of evolution. This is the topic for 10 marks. Try to brainstorm. Okay. Take 45 seconds to 1 minute. All right. I'll be sharing those things in my Telegram channel. You can just refer, because the video will also be uploaded there. All right. So did you guys brainstorm? Okay. Now let's you guys observe, because you could already sense what has been written there. You could see that the answer begins with definition. Okay. The definition includes keywords. All right. And then this is one dimension, one part of answer, and background. Who has done it and in which work? Okay. This is incorporated. Then explanation of theory. Okay. 3 parts. And now part 4, diagram is included. And part 5, criticism. And part 6, significance of the theory, or whatever the concept that has been given. And then we have the USP. has anyone heard about extended evolutionary synthesis anytime, even by accident? So this is what brings, this is what takes the evaluator to curiosity. This is what will fetch that extra 1 mark. Imagine 1 or that extra half mark that you fetch for one question will cumulatively add to 30 to 35 marks. That is what is difference between a 260 or a 290 or a 250 or a 280 or a 270 or a 300. All right. So see, we have written 7 dimensions, 7 parts, and a unique element that makes this answer uniquely to that candidate. Okay. So with this, the concept has been explained. All the range has been shown. In 10 markers, you should show the range, how much you know about it. Okay. There was no need to write these many points, but if you're writing this, you will definitely score 7 or above. All right. So let's go to the second question. So like I said, enrichment can be done in 4 ways. One is through recent developments. Particularly, this should be used when it is about a core research field. All right. So let's come to second question. Why I'm showing is there is a reason. You know, a lot of you people have studied this. Even I studied this, and these are outdated, and UPSC has so far never asked. So we have very little content on it, and no one could write. I can, like I experienced at least, no one could write 2 pages for one of the concepts, right? Because that is the level of preparation that we have restricted ourselves, since it is not very important topic in anthropology. But how will you write when it is asked, right? Because preparation is this, but how will you ensure that you're writing better there? So sometimes management skills, you need to manage some questions. So I'll try to show how I try to manage with the enrichment part. Okay, see this part. Sorry. So I try to define it. So definition is one part, and I gave an example. Okay, and then I explained the why this has been devised, and fourth thing I explained the critic. I mean, I highlighted the critic. So 3 parts, and since I am limited here, so my content ends here with this classic example. Okay, many species went extinct or diminished in size. So this was the limitation of my content, but somehow I have to show the range and the quantity, because only then our answers will be airworthy. They will fetch that extra half or 1 mark. So I tried to include the example which everyone knows, but nobody cares to identify and use it. So we know that all modern birds, they are descendants of dinosaurs. So dinosaurs were huge, and all modern birds, except for a couple of them, they are very small. So that is an example. And when someone sees this, it is quite natural that yes, it is there. Samneta, it is right in front of our eye, and someone is showing which is right in front of our eye, which we didn't see, then it appears like, Arey wah, what did he write? What did he write? Right? That brings an impressive value. Okay. So this is about management. So this part, I did the same with the second part. Okay. See, Gauss rule also, I had the limited knowledge, so I tried to use 2 examples to fill the space. Okay. So the same things. And let's come to understanding the demand of questions. Okay. So far we discussed how to integrate enriched content and how to navigate where we feel deficiency in content. And the third thing is how to break such open questions into clear-cut demands. All right. So see, what is the question? Could you guys please read it for yourself, or shall I dictate? Sorry, narrate. The continuity of the Indus Valley civilization into later ages was not confined to the religious or spiritual fields alone. Analyze the statement. So please brainstorm this. Just try to identify what are the parts that you could have identified to answer. Need not write the whole answer. Just take 1 minute and try to break the demands. All right, please take a minute. So hope you guys have tried to identify the parts. All right, now let's see. It is open question. All right, and what is the keyword? Continuity. It is talking about the cultural change and continuity. It is talking about the social dynamics. So we need to identify both explicit and implicit demand. The explicit demand is, it is not confined to religious and spiritual fields. That means we need to write that it expands over other spheres of society. But implicit is, it also continues in these spheres. That part I should acknowledge right in the answer. So first part I just introduced with the necessary facts about the civilization. And the second thing I did is to address the implicit part, the continuity through ages due to persistence of its cultural elements in religious and spiritual sphere. Okay. So the points are very crisp and they are not elaborated, because this is implicit demand and you are only explaining the context. Here there is no need for elaboration. The weightage has to be given adequately. The main weight, the higher weightage has to be given to this part. That's why the space for this is limited. All right. It's not like it cannot be written in 2 pages. It can be, it even can be written in 3 pages, but you should divide it proportionately. So the main explicit part, how it is not limited to religious aspects alone, but goes to cover. See, I identified, as you could observe, I identified the explicit demand very explicitly. I wrote it as economic, political and technological elements without having to, without expecting the question to describe them explicitly. All right. This is what will catch the examiner's eye. And everyone knows that these parts will be written. There's nothing about it. All right. It's quite factual and it will be studied in GS as well. Same things will come out here. So when the demand is addressed, we should come very strong with conclusion, the USP again. Right? See, RCB won again. The power of consistency, right? After 18 years, ee salanu cup namde. Okay. So let's come back to the main part. The conclusion here is the culture collapsed as a unit, right? But cultural elements remained and carried forward by the remnant population to new settlements. This is what you will study in archaeological anthropology. This is what is that analytical crux, right? Whatever we live today, lot of elements are still alive from Indus Valley. The question was about continuity. That should be expressed. Like I said, enrichment can be done through articulation. It shows that you have understood the things at its core. I'm outrightly acknowledging and identifying it that some remnant population and some cultural traits have survived. So the IVC is still has some element of continuity. And to make it very strong and appealing, I tried to incorporate a quote. See, the scale and intensity varies because some traits, they remain in their original form. In some places, there are more traits, and some places, there are lesser number of traits that are from IVC. Because in Northeast, you can see there are very few traits that are associated with Indus Valley. So with strong conclusion, I refer to quotes here. Civilization rarely dies. often lives through its cultural elements. Don't you think when we speak of the Sanatan society, when we speak of a civilizational nation, this is what it is referred to? Because India is not just the nation that is created by a political boundary. It's a nation that has still its roots in its civilization. And civilization, by its very nature, it never dies. There will be cultural elements which will always remain. So with such nuanced, analytical, code-based conclusion, imagine how the evaluator might feel it. This is what will fetch you that extra 1 mark. All right. And let me be very clear here. That extra 1 mark is not just given to this question. When such answers are produced, this extra marks will add to every other question. Instead of giving 5, the evaluator tends to give 5.5, even in your average answers. So cumulatively, your entire paper will get boost. And it works other ways also. If evaluator finds you are just that mugged up answers, he'll give -2 than the average, and this will get reflected to the other questions, and your paper will be butchered. All right. So this is about the answer writing framework and strategy that you and me we should develop in the next few months. So let's work together on this. And before this, I'll just try to show you a couple of more questions very briefly without going into that details. See here, I try to use the very common example, which we know, just that we'll not be able to write it. Code switching, I think the new aspirants would not understand. Let me skip this. But this example is something. Code switching means when we are multilingual, we tend to speak in different languages. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಕನ್ನಡದವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಹಿಂದಿಯವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದಿಯವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. In this, when I'm switching language from one to other, that is what is code switching. Code here means language simply. And see, ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಕಮ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಬೇಗ ಬನ್ನಿ ನೀವು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಲೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಒನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಸೇ ನೀವು ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾಕೆ ಲೇಟಾಗಿ ಬಂದ್ರಿ, आप क्यों लेट आए, आई एम यूजिंग वन इंग्लिश वर्ड देयर. दिस इज व्हाट इज कोड स्विचिंग. दिस इज वेरी कॉमन दैट वी लिव एवरी डे. व्हेन यू गिव सम डायरेक्ट रिलेटेबल एग्जांपल्स ना, द इवैल्यूएटर विल फील दैट you have understood, because you are picking this right out of your life. All right, so this is what will bring your that edge. Okay, so again, about the demand parts, it is there. And more importantly, the integration part, right? There is this lot of concern among the candidates, even I had until last year, where I tried to develop how to build the connections between the topics, theories, and physical and social. And here there is an example. I tried to use, why do we switch codes, right? Why do we switch? ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಭಿ ಸಮझो हम हिंदी में बात कर रहे हैं, and suddenly an officer comes, or say someone who is rich, he comes, will suddenly shift to that sophisticated English. Why? Because we want to lift our status to them, right? We want to feel that maybe वही हूँ भाई, मैं नीचे नहीं हूँ. This is what is required, and that is what social mobility, social aspiration and mobility. So this is how you need to interlink things. Okay, and see how I tried to integrate social adaptation. You are adapting to the situation, right? You might have seen the cricket commentaries, post match shows. You know, some of our Indian cricketers, they don't know English. The interviewer will ask the questions in English, and the respondent will respond in Hindi. This is what is social adaptation. All right, this is how we need to bring the interlinkages. I'll show about interlinking theories later on, but since this is a brief strategic orientation session, I will not be able to extend so too far. And this is about national character and its relevance. See, again, like I spoke about, you need to answer based on demand. Most of us have read about national character studies, right? But we have read it in a bulk. We know at least 2 to 3 pages to write about national character. Since here it is, the question is clear, national character studies and its relevance. The weightage has to be split. First part, we need to allocate 50%. The next part, we need to allocate another 40 to 50%. Okay, so that is what I have tried to incorporate, as you guys could observe. See, first page, I wrote about the national, what is national character and its explanation and the studies and the works that have been done in this aspect. And the second part is relevance with clean examples and whatever, and I have tried to incorporate Indian example, because when we speak of theories and everything, they are generally written and most of the studies have done by foreigners. In India, except for some part, lot of things are borrowed. So when we try to give Indian examples for those works that are done by foreigners, the examiner will feel like he is linking the things, he is understanding as, and he is connecting the things. So that is what will give you an edge again. So there was this case which I used as a relevance. Usually this used to be right as a case study, but you need to adapt, and this is what you need to develop using the known things based on the demand and the situation. All right. And for role set and role strain, I think everyone knows about this, right? If not, I think most of the beginners will be finding it difficult. But yes, again, when the question explicitly asks about concepts, mere definition is not sufficient. You need to elaborate it. How? I'll ask you one question. How did you come to this classroom? In one line. You will tell that, sir, I came by bus, I came by bike, or I came by walk. But if I ask you to elaborate in 3 lines, how you can tell, sir, I went out of my home, I climbed down the stairs, I walked for a few minutes, and I came to reception, I asked for classroom, and then I came and joined the session. So you are able to elaborate it. Same thing here. All right. You need to elaborate when it is explicitly asked that concept of. Simple definition and multiple dimensions about the concept is not advised. You need to spend at least the portion, the weightage, 40% to the concept. Okay. And rest 60% you can use to show your range. All right. So that's about this part. So hope this is, there are a lot more, but let me stop here because this is overextending. Now I'll show one last question, because paper 2, lot of us have this, jinx in paper 2. Many toppers we have seen, they score 150, 145, sometimes 160 in paper 1, and the paper 2 score is very stagnated, 120, 122, 118. So imagine if the candidate even scored 140 in that, the rank would translate into improvement of over 100 ranks. Every mark count when it comes to rank. So paper 2, why it becomes very crucial is, in short time, that we generally, at least I sense this, we generally spend 70 to 80% in paper 1, and we spend 20% in paper 2. And the net difference in marks is only 20 marks, right? Compared to paper 1 and paper 2. And sometimes what happens, we get better marks in paper 2 than paper 1. All right. But because that's what happened with me in my initial attempts. And then I realized that when we are giving only 20% and scoring high, why not give us 10% more? The 10% more time to refine our answers and develop an approach to write anthropological answers. Because paper 2, most part, it seems like it is social or general science. If you are writing answer by very, that 20% preparation, the answers are bound to be a bit generic and the marks are mere reflection of it. So we need to think and write using anthropological keywords, concept, and language. So that is what I have tried to develop in my previous year. So I'll try to show an example over here. Sorry guys, the wrong PDF has been uploaded. Sorry guys, the file I'm not, I think I got the wrong file and that has been uploaded. So let's stop about, the changes in answer, this part, how to, create frameworks and inculcate the edge creating aspects and understand the answer writing part. So let's move to the next part. All right. So we understood evaluator psychology, and let's come to what we are going to do for next 2.5 months. So I call it a RRR strategy, and this is not your roar and rise. This is very simple. Refine. The first thing is refine. What to refine? You need to refine your understanding. You need to refine your concepts, and you need to refine your notes by consolidation. Okay, and you need to refine how you are writing the answers. So these things you need to refine, and it's not that once you have refined these things, it's not guarantee of good answers and good marks. It should be reviewed. You might have practiced for 100 hours with proper techniques in net, but when you're asked to play in the field, you might not execute. For that, the review part comes in. Why review? Because I'll be personally mentoring you by identifying which areas you need to work on. And I'll personally see what you have referred so far. Based on that, I'll try to suggest what should be studied more. And after that, I'll be reviewing your answer copies, the daily answer copies, when you are being mentored. Okay. And the second thing is, the inputs that I'll be giving, they are outcome of last 7 years and 6 months of preparation. Okay. And these are at the cost of lot of time, work, and energy. So please don't do the same mistakes and try to use the feedback approach, where you will reduce your mistakes in earlier phase, and you will identify which areas you have the gaps, the blind spots. Okay. With this, your preparation will take a flight. Those who are stuck in the 220 to 240 range, they'll pick to 270. And those who are in that, that rigid range of 240 to 260, they will get a fillip. Otherwise, the marks are bound to remain stagnant, because the resources are plenty and the resources are universally accessible. And how will the evaluator identify that you have actually studied and you have actually worked and you have actually understood better? For that you need that unique element, where you need to make every answer, no matter if you are taking it from any topper or whatever, you should make it look like your own. This is where I come in. All right. And the third part is, when you do that refinement and review, you are bound to rise. Your preparation will be better. You will be able to write better answers. And obviously, when you are writing and performing better, you will get good marks. And anthropology, or any optional for that matter, is very crucial for fetching a rank. All right. We have seen anthropology or any optional, how decisive it is in defining a rank. This time, there are many examples where mere due to performance of excellence, performance in optionals, people have gotten the rank. Had they got the average marks, they are not even in the list. Take for me instance, 303 has pushed me into the top 100 bracket. If I were that 270, 280s, I would have pushed at least 150 to 200 ranks lower. All right. This will not only ensure you getting the rank, it will ensure that you will get the desired service. All right. So that's all for you guys. So if you have any questions, we can take up in some time. Have a break of 1 or 2 minutes. All right.
We'll have a quick Q&A session. Those who have, please ask particularly about the program or any other specific query that you have about answer writing. All right. Anyone has? Yeah. Same thing about answer writing. This will hold good, but you need to take it in a gradual, phase by phase manner. You need not rush like those who are appearing for 2026 mains, because they are supposed to rush. They have to appear for mains in next 80 days. So they are bound to rush. Those who are appearing for 2027, please take it unit by unit, chapter by chapter, paper by paper, and try to create your own edge. I'll tell how. Okay. And it's often known that everyone tells what to do. When we write answers, it is often said structure ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. The answer has to be structured. There has to be parts and there has to be dimensions, right? And it has to be written in margin. These things are also told, and they also tell you have to underline, you have to box, and you have to write neatly, except for how. They'll tell, like it's often said, because even I also try to seek a lot of guidance from the people around. All I could find is they'll tell what to do, and most of us have experienced that. But the thing is how to do, right? How to enrich. Because if I tell what to enrich, everyone will know. If I'm telling you need to write this for this particular answer, everyone will know it, and almost whoever has seen it will write it. And then how will it become your own, or how will it create an edge? So the role in mentorship program here is to understand you how to do it, how to develop that thought process. Only then the answers start to seem uniquely yours. Okay. So guys, one last advice. Anthropology, this time the paper one was the toughest of all right. It is toughest, but it is not impractical, because there will be scaling when it is tough. And even when it is tough, the question paper will contain at least 180 marks of the basic zone, and our effort should be to work on those 180 marks. 180 marks will be from what we have studied, and this is where our preparation should concentrate, and these are the areas where we should now sit and incorporate linkages, quotes, or any that extra element. And the rest 70 marks will be choppy. There will be some difficult 10 markers, and there will be a compromise in 120 marker, and there will be compromise in 215 markers, and that amounts to around 70 marks. And your target should be to score 70% in the 180 mark slot. Because in optional, if the answers are really good, by addressing the demand structure and the content is good, you will be rewarded 70% marks for that answer. For 10 marker, we'll get 7. For a 20 marker, we'll be awarded 14 marks. So by considering 70% for this slot, what is the ratio? Okay, could you guys please calculate? It will amount to say 126. All right. And if you are scoring some 30 to 40% for these questions, it will amount to 21 to 28, right? So what is the net marks? It will somewhere be about 150, 145 to 155, right? So this is in our control, at least paper one. Okay, because there will always be questions worth 180 marks, which we should be pre-prepared. And coming to paper two, there is a different strategy where you won't get even 180 marks directly, but in this other lot, your conversion can be better. It can be more than 40%. Only if you are using anthropological touch or anthropological language to write answers. All right. So this is what will propel you to 270 plus border range. And those who actually execute your preparation in exams with a sprinkle of magic, where sometimes it happens, your score will go to 300. This time some magic happened with one of the questions. There was a deja vu, a sudden idea I got. There was this question on genetic markers, and as I finished my addressing the demand part and everything, when I came to conclusion, I suddenly realized that what are genetic markers? They are markers. They identify someone very uniquely, right? They are identifier something. So to my mind, surprisingly it clicked that genetic markers are like Aadhaar card. So why shouldn't I use that? So I wrote the conclusion like genetic markers are Aadhaar card of nature. So this was my conclusion, and sometimes I feel impressed by it. Sorry to self praise here, but I don't know, that deja vu happened, and when we start to think anthropologically and try to incorporate things, that happens. So let me see if we have any questions to take up. Guys, one by one. Sir, how to tackle mains for someone who has good preparation of GS but nearly zero preparation of anthro till now, and can give 6 hours each day till mains? See, with zero preparation, whether you are meaning that you haven't seen the subject or syllabus itself, or like you have studied, that part has to be clear. Let me assume that you have studied once and not written any answers. What you can do is, for next 2 months, you need to write answers daily, at least 3, if possible 5. By that, what happens, you'll be completing some 200 to 300 questions. And anthropology, when you shrink it, it will reduce to some 500 questions, 500 to 600 questions. And if you are targeting those areas, which I'll also be providing, which are very important for this year, you will be able to cover the important parts and probably find some reasonable score. All right. There's another question. Sir, I have completed the anthro course of a coaching in 2025. Do I need to take a fresh course for 2027 attempt? Because to address the changing demand on the question paper. See, if you have done the basic classes, there is no need to take classes again. Only if the classes have been taken from proper guidance or proper teacher. All right. What you need to do is to work on clarifying the things and trying to translate them into competitive marks fetching answers. So your approach should be towards translating information into rank. All right. So that is what I would suggest. There is no need for another coaching. Sir, how this mentorship works for someone who has just finished the classes once and not written any answers, no notes appearing for 2027? I mean, is this like foundation class or what? No, this is not foundation class, and no, I am not here to teach you. Okay, the teachings, the books, the resources, they are plenty and they are everywhere. I'm here to make you understand, to use them into a good answer writing framework. Okay, that is what I am going to provide in this program. So I am not going to teach, but yes, I'll try to give you a few sessions on theories, how to understand them very clearly, and how to link them wherever it is possible. It's both about theories and works of anthropologists, which we can use in a seamlessly fluid manner. So what is the major difference between GS answers and optional answers? Everyone says that optional answers require deeper analysis. So could you please tell me the major difference? Yes, GS answers and anthropology answers are different, because the evaluator in GS and the evaluator in anthropology or any other optional has
different mindset. They are academicians who expect you to know the discipline well. And the optional has been introduced in UPSC exam to create a domain expertise, a specialization in some field. So you are expected to know deep and write in a better way. Unlike GS, where superficial things presented in a neat manner will be good for the day. All right. So anthropology or any optional, you need to work hard. So who will be checking our answers in this mentorship program, and who would be providing personalized feedback on our answers, and what will be the frequency of it? So the personalized feedback and review of your answers will be done personally by me. And the frequency of visit is every 3 days after 15 questions, because every day there will be 5 questions for next 50 days. I'll be giving those 5 questions, and you are expected to write them and keep them with you. And every 3rd day or probably 2nd day, based on the requirement, I'll create an online session where I'll discuss those 10 questions, how you should approach, and how anthropological thought, how answers can be made more anthropological, and integration of those unique elements. Those part I'll discuss, and not only them, I'll also try to make sure that the template is created for such questions. So by the time we are done with some 100 questions, you will be able to identify and create answers for your own. So this is what will be provided in this mentorship program. And evaluation, yes, I will not be able to evaluate everyone's copy every day, because suppose imagine 5 questions, even if it is 20 people, it is 100 questions. If I am sitting and evaluating 100 questions per day, it will require 5 to 6 hours. So when I will be able to mentor you? So evaluation is not important, because me reviewing it and giving feedback directly in front of you one-on-one is a lot more important than me sitting and ticking and giving you marks. All right, I'll directly review it, because there is no point just simply ticking and giving marks, because this is not a test. This is an exercise, a disciplined exercise to develop answer writing. Okay, you need that constant feedback. And once you are ready and you understand how to write answers, anyways, you will be writing the test series, which you will be getting evaluated. Not here at least. I'll be mentoring those parts as well. If those who request, at least those who are writing for 26 mains, if they are requesting to review the papers which they have written somewhere else, I'll be mentoring it. Okay, I'll review it and I'll tell what could have been done. So that part I can assure. All right. When will the program start? The program will start from June 4 or worst case June 5, because starting late doesn't make sense. Because if you miss next 10 days, those who are at least assured of clearing the prelims or in the borderline, they should start the mains preparation right away. If you are losing 10 days, you are actually losing the opportunity of the mains itself. It is very decisive. The time is already been reduced by UPSC, and you starting late will create an advantage for your competitors. So starting early is the key. So that's why June 4 will be the first day of answer writing, and the schedule will be given latest by today night or by tomorrow first half. Okay, please stay tuned for that. The program will start before prelims itself, but those who are in the borderline, they can even join later words, but you have to make patch up for the lost work. Where can we able to get proper schedule at least tentative? Yes, I'll be providing it latest by tomorrow 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. Will the sessions conducted by any common or one-on-one? By you common or one-on-one? The sessions will be common, but after every session there will be one-on-one for every answer written by you. Okay. Is there a way we can know which topics are supposed to be focused more? Yes, I'll be giving that high probable areas. Is program flexible for working professional? Yes, recording will be provided for the sessions. Sir, should we start with answer writing even before finishing some good amount of syllabus?
No, you can finish the syllabus based on the schedule or your own schedule. But if you are doing it on your own schedule, you need to do the patch up work, catch up work. Okay. Because I can't give a personalized schedule for everyone. That is not practically possible. Those who are doing it on your own, you can always get the previous things which you have left reviewed later, or those that are you are writing now, you can get it reviewed now. All right. Sir, would you also help us in making structured comprehensive notes? Yes, I'll help you how to make consolidated notes. I'll be uploading my notes and my answer copies in a phased manner, day by day, syllabus by syllabus. Okay. And I'll help you how to make your notes comprehensive by peer-to-peer support. You guys will be helping out each other, and I'll provide what the notes that I have made, which are ready to use. But some parts even I have not consolidated thoroughly, where you will have to collab and work. I'll be assisting over that. Sir, I want to join for 26 Mains, but I'm not appearing for Mains, sir. Yes, you can join. Those who are not appearing for 27 Mains, sorry, not appearing for 26 Mains, they can make use of this mentorship program only if you have studied anthropology for some time. If you are an entirely beginner, your program is for 1 year. Okay. In 2 months, it won't be helpful for you. Okay. Sir, as mentioned, daily 5 questions will those cover all syllabus for both of us? Yes. 250 questions, imagine how much syllabus can be covered. Even if you're writing just 8 or say 8 or 9 tests, all it covers is 9 into 2, 180 or 200 questions. So 250 questions, it will cover a lot, and it will cover those important questions, which are highly, probable for this year. What would be your advice for borderline cases this year? Because we would not be able to join in course before results. Yes, those who are in that borderline, you can join now. And if some of them, they miss us out, you can later, resign from the program. Why I am advising to join now is, you cannot buy back or get back these 8 days until your results come. Okay. So start early, but please make sure that at least you are in borderline. Good copies, yes. If I found any candidate writing really good answers, because a lot of us are capable of that, and many people can write answers in their own ways, which can be impressive. So I'll be using them and providing them as a reference for the other lot. I will not be giving every answer of every candidate. I'll only give few selected answers based on the need and demand of the that day's questions. I'll not be giving the answers for basic questions. Okay, that is not advised, because people will fear that their work will be distributed in free. Because some candidate, it's quite natural that their hard work will be shared with others unduly. So that risk I can't afford. But yes, if I find it and if I feel that this kind of questions, this is how it has to be approached, I'll be sharing with due consent. Okay. All right. So the questions are out. Okay. So thank you guys. Let's see very shortly, and hope you guys start the preparation right away, because mains is consistent daily answer writing. All right. So thank you.